Yeah, Shalom Akim, Kahala Na Yahaba Shim Yashaba Shin Hakudash, and double honest to the Grams and Apostles. Thought the Shah for the strength and all to make this video, and Yaratazar, you find it edifying also. But yeah, man, this really shouldn't be too long of a video. It's just something that I saw in the recommended section of YouTube, and I said, okay, this looks quite interesting. When I saw the title, it says white people built castles but didn't wash their arse, their backside. So this is really just like a little reminder of the origins of Esau Edom, as I named the video, his origin being unclean, because that's really where they came from. From an unclean state. Jake Reed was the one who had to teach them how to clean themselves, and even to this day as well, they're unclean, man. Obviously, those of us in the UK can speak testament to that as well, in terms of how they stink when you get on the buses, man. But yeah, anyways, I'm gonna open up with a precept. Let me get this precept. This is Job 30 and verse 8, KJV on the left and NLT on the right. They were children of fools, yea, children of base men. They were viler than the earth. It says on the right, it says they are nameless fools, outcasts from society. And yeah, because that's why Esau has the label on him as a Caucasian, because they came from the Caucasus Mountains, and therefore that also links with, the scripture really supports that, because we know that in the scriptures it talks about him, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock. So let me get that one too, then I will get to the video. As I said, a very short video this will be. Generally it would be short, because the point is simple, really. It's not something to rant on for too much. So Jeremiah 14 and 16, it says, thy terribleness hath deceived thee, and the pride of thine heart, O thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, that holdest the height of the hill, though thou shouldest to make thy nest as high as the eagle, I'll bring thee down from thence, saith the Lord Yahweh. And of course, where it talks about, again, Caucasus Mountains, dwellest in the clefts of the rock, that's talking about his origin. So that holdest the height of the hill, he's the one in rulership right now. Though thou shouldest make thy nest as high as the eagle. So, them space stations. Of course, he's ambitious. I know he's trying to have space hotels, especially with what's his name, Jeff Bezos, and with his space company called Blue Origin. That's talking about thou shouldest make thy nest as high as the eagle, man. So Esau wants to rule the skies as well. But despite that, it's going to be brought down, as it says here, I will bring thee down from thence, saith the Lord Yahweh. Same thing here as it says in Obadiah 1 and 3. The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, which the heart is reference to the mind, who shall bring me down to the ground. So of course Esau has that prideful state where he thinks that he won't fall, but he will fall. His fall is inevitable. But anyways, let's get back to the video. And Yara Tazar, you're gonna hear this woman say some good things.
Here we go. What are we looking at? A castle. The caption is what took me out, okay? It says, this was built by people who had never been on Pinterest. Now, Nicole, why is this so fucking funny? If you know me and you know me for a while, you know I'm about to destroy your vision, okay? I mean, no shade. This is beautiful, okay? The detailing, the color, the artwork, beautiful. However, so what we just looked at is Schloss Augustusburg. That was built in 1725 in Germany, right? Nothing interesting, right? Keep that in mind. Now riddle me the fuck this. I asked ChatGPT, how was the hygiene like in 7025 in Germany? Nobody could have prepared me, okay? Daily washing, not daily bathing. By the 18th century, people across much of Europe, including Germany, did not bathe in tubs daily. Instead, they usually washed their faces, hands, and sometimes feet with water and linen clothes. Now, you may be...
You heard it right there, man. It says they, did not bathe in tubs daily. Instead, it's a talk about Edomites, by the way. Instead, which, by the way, the Edomites over there in Germany, they're referred to as the Temanites. They're like the smart tribe of Edom, man. They're the ones who are, into the books, and I say into the books. In a broad term, they're referred to as the intelligent ones, the wise ones of Edom, the Temanites. In fact, let me get a precept of that on that as well. This is Genesis 36 and verse 15. These were dukes of the sons of Esau. So dukes referring to the chiefs, the captain, the governors, the ones put in high positions under Esau. These were the dukes of the sons of Esau, the sons of Eliphaz, the firstborn son of Esau, Duke Teman, Duke Omar, Duke Zepho, Duke Kenaz. So these are like the grandchildren of Esau. So Eliphaz, one of the sons of Esau, and then you had the grandchildren here, which is Teman, Omar, Zepho, and Kenaz. And when we go into Teman in itself, hold on, let's see, where is it? Teman. It says it means south, but there's also another part that refers to the intelligence as well, if I recall correctly. Actually, it even says it here. It says it in definition B, in the outline of biblical usage. The tribe descended from one noted for the wisdom of its people. So that's why they're also referred to as, the wise ones of Esau, Edom. AKA those are referred to as the Germans of today. So even them Germans, they still had a lack of cleanliness, despite being considered as the wise ones.
Nobody could have prepared me, okay?
Oh yeah, and by the way, the 18th century is the 1700s. Just to get some clarification of that. So 1700 until 1799, that's referred to as the 18th century. And after that would be the 19th century, which is 1800s to 1899. And that's why today we're in the 21st century, of course, according to Esau's labels of things. But yeah, let's continue. It says daily washing, not daily bathing. By the 18th century, people across much of Europe, including Germany, again, they're referred to as the Temanites, did not bathe. Again, the Edomites of Germany did not bathe in tubs daily. Instead, they usually wash their faces, hands, and sometimes feet with the water and linen clothes. Full body immersion in water was rarer. See? Even if, let's say, Unclean may go to the pub to use the toilet, when you see these other Edomites, in there, after, they've cleared themselves, and then when it comes to washing their hands, all they do, certain of them, I'll say most of them, they actually just dip their hands in the water, and then they just, grab the handle of the door, and then they're gone. They don't wash their hands with salt, man. Just a little sprinkle of water, and that's that. Quickie right there. So that's just for that's just reference to British culture there. Don't know about America, but I can speak for Britain right there in terms of the Edomite culture, of them just rinsing their hands after using the toilet. Man, let's continue on with this.
Daily washing, not daily bathing.
Remember, children of fools, children who are base men. Job 30 and 8.
18th century, people across much of Europe, including Germany, did not bathe in tubs daily. Instead, they usually washed their faces, hands, and sometimes feet with water and linen clothes. Now, you may be wondering, why did I show you a castle and then started talking about body hygiene? Right. Why the fuck? How the fuck did you build shit like that architecturally on a such high level? Beautiful stuff. And then running around filthy as hell, not washing yourself. The superior race, right? Civilized. Right. So they lived in beautiful houses, but had less body hygiene than a fucking street dog. Right.
Realistically as well, before Esau came into power, from that period of the Renaissance time era, which Yaratazar, over time, I'm gonna bring out that history of Yaratazar, get into more of the details, because Jake actually ruled in that previous time prior to the Renaissance period, man, in terms of certain civilization, but before I get into the details, those will be in other videos, Yaharat. But the point is, Jake, aka Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, were actually ruling prior to Esau, coming down and being risen up to power. That's why I was talking about the fact that the dragon was not the dragon, but Esau was cast down, 1,000 years. During that time, there's actually a time period, of roughly 1,000 years where Esau was not in rulership. He was cast down, and then Jake was the one who ruled after for a period of time. In the Renaissance period, again, this is just brief, very, very brief information. The Altazar over time, I'm gonna bring out more details. So I also got to study that myself too, just to get clarity on the knowledge of the history there. But the point is, really, Esau did not rule for that portion of China, especially even those dark ages too. That wasn't the time where Esau was ruling, man. No credit to Esau. So you labeled it as the dark ages. So yeah, that's why, she's she's giggling at the fact that, of all these buildings that Esau's created, well, Esau so-called created, because really it was Jake that was invented these buildings, that designed and built these buildings, and then Esau even just came to steal them and claim them for himself. Because remember, this is what he did, man. Let me get a precept. This is 1 Maccabees 3:48, and laid open the book of the law, that's talking about the Bible, the scriptures, wherein the heathen has sought to paint the likeness of their images. Well, that's really the key part right there. It says, has sought to paint the likeness of their images, which means, all that history of Jake being the ones of whom actually created these things, and also these buildings, as well as Jake's being painted of themselves too. Esau covered them and then whitewashed them, as the saying goes, not as the saying goes, but as the word goes, iconoclasm. Which let me get the definition of that. So the definition of iconoclasm says the act of breaking or destroying images, specifically a general destruction of the images and pictures set up in churches as objects of veneration, carried out by iconoclasts in the 8th and the 9th centuries, and by Protestants in Netherlands and 16th century. But the key part said the act of breaking or destroying images. That's what Edom did to us. And of course, 1 Maccabees 3, verse 48 actually talks about that as well. So I'm going to get back to the video and then we'll close it out soon.
Right. Okay. But there's more. Because I was like, let's compare. Shall we? Right. And of course, there's no common or standardized African hygiene, as Africa is a fucking continent, as we know. So I was like, how was the body hygiene in African countries in 1725? Now, you may want to pause to read. And just for reference, if you're a fucking racist, you're not going to like what's about to come. Body hygiene in African countries around 1725 varied a lot depending on the region, climate, culture, and available resources. Unlike today, there wasn't a standardized concept of hygiene, but there were strong traditions and practices around cleanliness. Let's look at regions, shall we? In West Africa, for instance, daily bathing was very common, often rivers, streams, or with water carried from wells. Herbs, clays, plant-based soaps, black soap made from palm oil and ash were used for cleaning skin and hair. Oils were applied to moisturize the skin and protect it from sun and insects.
You see, and that was a region where you had the Israelites, predominantly southern tribe, migrate to, man. To West Africa, where you got Nigeria, you got Ghana, Ghana, you got the Ashanti tribe, you got Yoruba, Hausa, Fulani. That's one of the Nigerian tribes as well. So you got Judah, Benjamin, Levi over there. And of course, they would have had those customs of hygiene as well, man. Remember, as despite them being put into captivity as well, especially with that, specifically the transatlantic slave trade, where the names of Yahweh Shem Yahshai were pretty much withheld from Jake. They still had that inward programming of hygiene within them. Where of course they had boss that says rivers, streams, or water carried with wells. And yeah, they do that till this day as well, man. I remember, of course, when it comes to bathing, really, there'd be well water being fetched at times. At times when the electricity was off, you got to fetch water from the well. And, you have a bath there. Now it says herbs, clays, plant-based soaps like black soap made with palm oil and ash were used for cleaning skin and hair. And yeah. Certain brands are also doing that today as well, I believe. It says oils, shea butter, palm oil were applied to moisturize the skin and protect it from sun insects. So, Jay had that inward knowledge of cleanliness, man. So that's really the point that I don't want to make this too long. It's probably been like about 20 minutes, but that's just me guessing. Yeah, man. Let me get one more preset. I'm gonna close it out. I'll link this video in the description in case you want to watch the rest of it. But that's really the point there, because I just wanted to focus on West Africa, which is where Israelites migrated to, anyways. Yeah. Let me get this last preset. Ecclesiastes 10:7. I have seen servants upon horses, and princes walking as servants upon the earth. You see, so those servants are really representative of Esau, Edom. He's the one who's supposed to serve us. And it says princes walking as servants upon the earth. That's because of the curses that Israelites had to go through, us Israelites had to go through for our disobedience to Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Because we disobeyed the Most High Yahweh, that's why we're in this position. Now, just thinking if there was one more thing that popped up to mind. So I've seen servants upon horses and princes walking as servants. Hold on, it might even be in Genesis, either Genesis 27, something around that. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so Genesis 27:40. And by thy sword thou shalt thou live. So this was, the blessing from Isaac to Esau. It says, and shalt serve thy brother. So of course Esau's the one who's destined to serve Jacob, to serve us, the Israelites. Edomites are destined to serve Israelites. And it shall come to pass when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. So read the point is, it says, and shall serve thy brother. So that refers to Ecclesiastes 10:7. I have seen servants, which is Esau, Edom, upon horses. They're in rulership right now, and princes. And then you can literally see them on horses as well when you go to the Queen's Guard in England. Forgot the area because I haven't really gone there in some time. But them areas which are of course near Buckingham Palace and certain entrances there. It says, and princes walking as servants upon the earth, man. So, that's that's usually quite. I think there's also another statue as well over there in probably America. But anyways, I'll leave it there. Okay, I'll leave it there. So Shalom, Yabashim Shabrakatha, and Yaratazar, they found the video edifying. Shalom.